I'm going to talk about how this Kendrick performance at Super Bowl Licks 49, how it is a defining, amazing, singular performance in the history of popular culture, hip-hop culture, rap culture, American culture, Black American culture, all that everything. I'm going to get to that, all that hyperbole that you know and you love from me. But I will also say, I'm going to put forth an idea as to why maybe Wayne really should have done it, and a potential moment of cowardice from Kendrick Lamar. So if you're a hater out there, there might be something here for you as well. But listen, when I was watching this yesterday, I was so nervous I could barely enjoy it. I don't know if you had the experience like I did. Like, I didn't know if he was going to go super political, if he was going to go super poppy, super minimalist. I didn't know what he was going to do. And like, while I was watching it, I could barely even process it. Like, I've watched some people's reactions and I don't know how they were reacting. I was just basically just sitting there, just like trying to clock it. And my wife came downstairs because she just put her baby to bed and she started doing dishes. And I was like, I'll do it after. Because like that was just making too much noise and I was just too nervous. But there are two responses that interest me to this performance. One, so if you don't know, I'm also I'm a collector of vintage Star Wars toys. I know. Sorry, ladies, I'm taken. But that's another thing that I do, and that's a whole other area of my life. And in that area of my life, I'm actually in touch with a lot of sort of dudes my age, middle age, and older dudes who are quite socially conservative, one could put it, because of the correlation between nostalgia and collecting and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of those friends of mine, or acquaintances of mine, or hobby friends of mine, all said the same thing. Like, worst Super Bowl ever. Don't know what it was, didn't understand. I like more performances. I don't like this. This is not very good. And I found that fairly surprising. But my favorite reaction was I watched this with my 17-year-old daughter, and I'm sitting there and I'm nervous. And like, I want this to be so good, and I want to have something to say about it. I want it to be so important that like I can barely even think, and it's over. And she just goes, "Dad, I think that was the best halftime I've ever seen." I was like, yes, okay, good. All is right in the world. That's what you want. You want middle-aged conservatives saying that you're trash, and you want teenagers and the future of this country saying, yeah, that was good. But actually, the way I want to frame this is not in those two reactions, although those reactions will be coming back. But I want to give credit to the person who really called this whole thing. This whole week, everyone's been making predictions. What's he going to play? What's he going to do? How's he going to perform? What's he going to be? Well, I'm going to tell you the person who saw clearly all the way. Kevin Burkhardt. He was the not Tom Brady guy announcing the game. And throughout the entire first half, he kept on referring to Kendrick Lamar as the person at the top of his game and at the top of the game. So every time he'd pop up, every time you'd see a promo for the halftime show, it was either Not Like Us or Hey Now or TV Off or Squabble Up or Be Humble. Those were all the songs that were played before, like during the promos. And every single time, Kevin Burkhardt would say at the top of his game or at the top of the game. And that's what this is. This was a performance about the competitive nature of hip-hop and the cleansing power of competition. How a victory can clean, a victory can sweep badness away. The thing about this whole moment is we just need to not think of it as like, oh, it's just another halftime performance. It's not. It's no wonder my friends didn't get it, because halftime performances are straight up just nostalgia shows. That's what they're for. They're for people who you remember and people who you can play the song at the wedding. And I listened to that when I was young and crazy. That's whatever, Tom Petty or the Rolling Stones or even giants that I love like Prince and Michael Jackson. When they did it, they were not at the top of their game. They were not. Okay, listen, Prince is a tough case because he was always at the top. But you know what I'm saying. In terms of cultural influence, in terms of cultural impact, in terms of listenership, in terms of artistic creativity, all those things coming together at once, we've never had somebody performing the Super Bowl at that level. The closest we got was maybe Bruno Mars or Lady Gaga or The Weeknd. But even then, think how absolutely nutty this is. I just did a video last week saying that Not Like Us may be the most important rap song in the history of the world. A couple of you correctly pointed out I should probably add Dear Mama and Superman, Crank That by Soulja Boy. I should probably add those two to the list as well. See that video if you haven't seen it. 60,000 of you have seen it. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. But for a song to win 5 Grammys last week, and to have that performer perform that song, and to have the performance of that song be in question, to have that be suspense, to have that be whether or not he will be sued, whether or not the suits will intervene and prevent him from playing the biggest song of the year with the most institutional and street and commercial acceptance that there's ever been. It's unbelievable. And coming up at the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar, an artist on top of his game, on top of the game. He is in the absolute top of the game. And he's performing at the big game, which makes sense that the entire halftime was structured around the concept of a game. I'll get back to that. I said I was going to talk about the cowardice. Now, part of what makes it so fascinating is that he didn't do the hits. Just play the hits, man. Yeah, sure, you can do 1 or 2 songs that are like new songs, but you gotta play the hits. You don't have that many hits. You know, people wondering, can he even do it? He doesn't even have that many hits. You can't even really do it. I mean, Wayne would have Lollipop, you know? That's why Wayne would work, you know? Wayne would work because the greatest hits are behind him. He's not at the top of his game. He's a proper performer, okay? He shouldn't be shilling Cetaphil. Ooh, that's sensitive. Not comfortable with the way he presents himself in those commercials, by the way. You don't want to hear that commentary from someone who looks like me, but I'm telling you, the cultural history and context of the way Lil Wayne's acting in that commercial makes me angry. Doesn't matter. What does matter is Lil Wayne, he's great, and I'm sure that the Carter Part 6 is going to be excellent, and I'll enjoy studying it, and I'm not writing him off as an artist, but he is not at the top of his game. So that's why Kendrick front-loaded everything. There's like deep cuts from GNX in this performance. There's a new song in his performance. He started off with a new song because he is an artist. Everyone says he's in the present. Yeah, he's in the present, but when you're in the present like this, you're also in the future. Like he's not in the past. That's the main thing. He's in the future. He's laying out the next album rollout. So everything's from GNX or from Damn. Nothing from Mr. Morale. Nothing from Butterfly, nothing from Good Kid, Mad City. I'm sorry. Yeah, and this is where I think the moment of cowardice pops up. Now, I don't know. But All Right, thematically, really would have linked up to really well. And he didn't perform it. And did he not perform it because he didn't just want to play a hit? That's possible. Did he not want to perform it because he already played it at the last Super Bowl that he played with Dre? Well, no, because there was some crossover with some songs from Damn on there as well. I think it's that he couldn't solve whether or not he can say we hate Popo. I think so. If you've ever seen my coverage of that Super Bowl a couple years ago, Dre said we still not loving police. But Kendrick actually censored himself and did not say we hate Popo. So I think that's the moment of potential cowardice, not playing All Right. Not only is it an anthem that fits in with a lot of the themes of black solidarity in an increasingly unkind America, but more that, like, I think he was maybe trying to avoid that line, but I don't know. So instead of a greatest hits package, which Lil Wayne would have provided us, and a spectacle, instead we get a rap show. Just a straight up rippity rap show, okay? Rippity rap, rippity rap. Just rap. I mean, like 2 songs maybe aren't. And listen, let me tell you some more things, Kendrick, about how this is supposed to work, okay? You're supposed to smile, buddy. You're at the Super Bowl. You're supposed to smile. You're not supposed to sit there scowling on top of a 40-year-old car talking about tiramisu. You're supposed to be smiling. You're supposed to be like a Olympic figure skater, performing and hitting your spins and your drops. Why aren't you smiling, Kendrick? How come the only time you smile is when you're taking out Drake, okay? I'm speaking facetiously. Obviously, it's great that he didn't smile, but that's part of the thing. He's breaking the code. You're supposed to perform happiness for everybody when you're doing the Super Bowl. And you're supposed to be in a harness. There's supposed to be a secret moment where all of a sudden you go pew and you fly up to the roof. And everyone goes, wow, how did you do that? And then a big explosion, and then you appear down in the bottom and you change your outfit 10 times. All that stuff. This wasn't that. This was just rapping. This was just a rap performance on a big stage. That's all it was. It was more performance than a Super Bowl performance. It was more rap performance than a Super Bowl performance. It was more performance art. It was more political performance than a Super Bowl performance. Let's talk about it, everybody, because if you're not thinking it, I need to help you think it. And if you're thinking it, I need to help you connect the dots. Because what we saw yesterday, and I have to fold in the victory of the Eagles over the Kansas City Drakes. We have to fold it in. It is all a part of the same narrative. When history looks back at this night, they are only going to see it in the context of this cultural axis of what I consider to be an axis of evil. We're talking Drake, Mahomes, and Trump, okay? All three of them there, all of them on the same side. Trump, with his policies infringing and butting in and making sure that they remove "end racism" written in the end zone. Now listen, that itself is just a pathetic band-aid that doesn't really indicate anything, but it was at least something. Writing "end racism" says a lot less than removing "end racism" does. Okay? So writing "end racism" was a plus 0.001 in terms of racial equality in America. Removing it is a minus 50. Okay? And that's what he did. And there's this whole constellation of these people who have been dominating our culture, political culture, sports culture, art culture, music culture, hip-hop culture. These people have been dominating all the time. We can't breathe. Hi, can we talk about something else? Can we be anywhere else? Can we have anything else? Does it just have to be Trump, Mahomes, and Drake everywhere we look? Everything. Does it have to be these three people? What does it mean that when Mahomes was asked about Trump coming and spending $22 million to come here, government efficiency, spending, I don't know how many millions of dollars it was. I'll tell you what, if it was more than literally one penny, I'm pissed. Doesn't matter. Mahomes says it's always cool to be able to play in front of the sitting president. Someone that is at the top position of our country. That's right, Mahomes. Top position, huh? And Trump's shouting out his wife, and they're all big friends. And you know, now Travis Kelce, you know, who's going to break up with Taylor. It's over now. It's over now. Not because they lost, but because of this horse hockey. I think, you know, no matter who the president is, I'm excited because it's the biggest game of my life. And having the president, though, in the best country in the world. So that'd be pretty cool. That's cool, everybody. That's cool. But it's not cool. It's not cool. That's not cool. It's not cool to say it's nice to have him here. This is somebody who is actively trying to hurt and marginalize non-white people. This is an active white supremacist president. That's what's happening. And I'm not speaking on behalf of any other organization. I'm not speaking on behalf of my employer or on behalf of Google or whatever it is. But that's what I see. From the evidence that I see, that's what I see. So I don't think it's pretty cool. And then who does Trump support in the Super Bowl? I don't want to say, oh, I do a really good Trump impersonation. I don't want to say, but there's a certain quarterback that seems to be a pretty good winner. Okay, yeah, that's what Trump said. By the way, everyone who does a Trump impersonation, got to end it like that, all right? Got to stop trying to do good Trump impersonations, okay? A certain quarterback that seems to be a pretty good winner. So he's rooting for Kansas City because they're the bullies, because they're the ones who win and keep on winning, because they have the structural advantage, because they have the dominance. Listen, I'm a Patriots fan, so I know all about rooting for evil empires, okay? So if you're from Kansas City and you love the Chiefs, don't listen to me. Of course, I'm going to root for Tommy football all the time, even though he did all the same things that Mahomes is doing, okay? Sports fandom is ridiculous, okay? As a neutral, there's no ethical way to root for the Patriots in 2018. As a neutral, there's no ethical way to root for the Chiefs right now. And then here we go with Trump leaving in the third quarter. He left in the third quarter. Now, you can write that however you want. I prefer to read it like this. His favorite player lost, had 2 interceptions and a fumble. His second favorite player dropped more passes than a Butterfinger. And then Kendrick Lamar performed for him in a way that he could not understand. That something was happening and he did not know what it was, did he, Mr. Jones? Just no comprehension at all. And then on the other side, we have Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, when he was asked about Trump showing up, says he's welcome to do what he wants. Yes, that's the answer, my friends. He's welcome to do what he wants. He knows if he says, I don't F with Trump, he's going to have a big problem. There's going to be all the attention taken away from his game. All the attention, he's going to be a target. He's going to be just another pawn in the culture war. He's going to lose autonomy, all that. He just has to say he's welcome to do what he wants. I didn't know. I don't watch American football because my wife's a neuroscientist and there's no ethical way to watch football at all. I hate to tell you. But he's my new favorite player because that's a great answer. So, so you have this whole So you have this inevitability, this omnipresence of Mahomes, this omnipresence of Trump, and of course the omnipresence of Drake up until this battle. The increasingly Trumpy, MAGA-y Drake, who was doing his Happy Dads seltzer sponsorship, affiliation style stuff. He's on the manosphere. He's doing the gambling with the stake. He's very, very, very Trumpy at this point. And of course, Trumpy is increasingly attacking Black Americans and removing safety nets and support programs and demonizing anybody who is not white in the workforce. Okay? And these three have had a chokehold on our culture for a decade. Now, Kendrick has been taking out Drake, but as I said before, you got to keep stepping with those size 7s on the seven-headed hydra. You got to keep stepping on the neck and twisting. Step and twist, step and twist, step and twist. This is the final step and twist. Mahomes taken out, demolished, humiliated. Have you ever seen the GOAT get so humiliated? Have you ever seen Tom Brady or Joe Montana have a game that bad? Have you ever seen Scott Zolak have a game that bad? I mean, he was terrible. He was garbage. So maybe he's going to move out. Now listen, Trump is absolutely in regalia, okay? He's having everything he possibly wants. He is as happy as he could possibly be, pushing through all these orders and having all this power and having control of everything. But maybe, this is a small victory that we can enjoy, that there is an actual connection between these three things. For the record, I don't know if Mahomes is a nice guy or not. I don't know. I hate all the commercials. I'm just so sick of it. So the narrative got screwed up. What was supposed to happen? There's supposed to be a nice, happy halftime show that reminded us that we're actually all okay. Thank you very much. Nothing to see here. The winners were supposed to win. The losers were supposed to lose. Trump was supposed to go on the field and do one of those fights and be happy. And the winners were supposed to win. The bullies were supposed to win. And the bullies lost. It's fine if you see this reading and you want to go in the comments and you want to say, Skye, don't get political. Everything's political. Okay? Have fun not getting political with reality. Everything's political. Everything is always political. If you think something's not political, it just means that you are given some kind of structural advantage that you can't recognize, okay? So that's my challenge to you. You say, how is this political? You just have some structural advantage that you were not aware of when you said that sentence. So I'm going to go song by song. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to weave in some of these deeper themes as I talk about it. Thank you for auditing the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who was so nervous before the show. I'm watching on the TV. Shout out to Tubi, because I don't even have an antenna that works in my house. So I was able to watch the game thanks to Tubi. I'm a Pluto guy, but I guess I'll go with Tubi too. And it's this weird thing where the announcers are right there, and the GNX is under wraps behind them. Well, Sweat is having a great half, and it's just standing there. And then they're going again, and you see Kendrick getting set up on top of the hood in the background. It's this weird behind the scenes, uncomfortable little thing here. And I felt the nervousness off of Kendrick. I felt he was nervous. That's the thing. He didn't smile very much throughout the whole thing. There's some footage of him afterwards where he's celebrating with his crew, celebrating with his friends. He's so happy. This meant a lot to him. He was super nervous, and you could really, really feel that. And before we even get started, Apple throws on some music. They throw on some music, some non-Kendrick music to get you set, to get you hyped. And if you have been watching this channel for more than Kendrick and Drake stuff, then you know what that is. Because that was Gais Guevara on Fat Possum Records, everybody. That was Gais Guevara, the Philadelphian. They snuck a Philadelphian on there, huh? And it's not a Conductor beat. They. By the way, if someone check on Conductor, goddamn, I love Conductor Williams, but he's a Chiefs fan and he's affiliated with Drake. Tough day for him too. They played a song by a black communist militant. That was that opening song. It's called "The Old Guard Is Dead." I said it in that video, and I'll say it again. There's no point in hip hop winning if you are all not listening to new hip hop. If you are just listening to Kendrick and you are not also checking for other rappers, seeing what they're doing, then what is the point of the culture winning, okay? Gaius Guevara is one of these young guys who's coming out and doing interesting things and doing things that is following. The revolution that is being fought by and for dudes like Gaius Guevara. And I don't know how Apple knew. I don't know how he got it to happen. I don't know if like Fat Possum released the rights to... because they had the rights to Al Green, so maybe they released the Al Green rights for 616 in LA under condition they do this. That's a conspiracy theory. I came out my butt right now, so don't you think I'm talking with any kind of knowledge there. I don't know what it is, but a great moment for Fat Possum Records. Shout out to Fat Possum Records. It's just unbelievable. Gaius Guevara, the most underground militant rapper, is the dude they choose to get set up. Feels like a win. It feels like a win. And then we have the tic-tac-toe board. The whole thing is based around games. I know it looks like the triangle and the X and the circle from a PlayStation controller, but also looks like a tic-tac-toe game. Also, they're going bleep, boop, 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 bloop, which I think is supposed to remind you of that game Simon, which is that game with all the colors and you have to hit them in the correct order. And then we have the whole beginning with the opening with whacked out murals, the part that's sung in by the mariachi singer, and we have Uncle Sam, Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson is obviously a national treasure. Okay, he's obvious. I think he has made the most money. His movies have made the most money of any movies in world history. I think it's between him and Zoe Saldana. I think they're very close to the biggest in terms of that. So Samuel Jackson, he sometimes. Let's be honest, Samuel Jackson fans, as we are, sometimes he mails it in. He was not mailing. This was 1990. This was Jules Winfield level Samuel Jackson, wearing the stars and stripes. By the way, the hat usually when you see an Uncle Sam thing, the stars are in a fairly neat row. In this case, they were in the shape of a crown, because I think it's tying into the crown motif of Kendrick Lamar. Okay? And he is simultaneously the antagonist and the narrator of the show. He is the voice of my middle-aged, white, conservative friends who don't get what they're seeing. He is literally telling Kendrick, don't do what you're doing. And he says, this is the great American game. There's no double entendre, but there's triple entendres. There's at least three entendres here. And I'm going to get out over my skis here trying to describe them. So just ride with me, would you? There's the football game. There's the American Dream game, and there is the game of hip-hop. I think that's it. I think that's basically it. That they're sort of all happening at the same time. Or maybe instead of the football game, there's the halftime game. Yeah, the halftime game, the rap battle game, and the American Dream game. And every single time that it's talking about what Kendrick can and cannot do, as a performer during the halftime, which is ostensibly what Samuel Jackson is saying, Uncle Sam, I'll call him Uncle Sam from now on, because that's the joke. He is also saying what Black Americans are not supposed to be able to do in the game of the American Dream. I think it might have been Dissect. I've been watching a lot of people talking about this. I forget who it was that called it the game of American Dream, but tell me in the comments, and I'll clean that, because I want to give credit where credit's due. And obviously, the game of the American Dream is rigged, right? It's rigged. It's rigged in favor of me personally. Okay. Father went to Princeton. Grandfather went to Yale. All that institutional power, it's rigged for me. Okay. I can pull myself up by my bootstraps because I got boots and I got straps. Most non-white people in America, no boots, no straps. So that game is very complicated. So every time he's telling Kendrick what to do, and this is the part where I need to say, do you see that part where I recognize that I'm white and I'm just an observer in hip-hop culture? I'm not a member, I'm an observer, I'm a professor, I'm an academic, okay? I'm a cultural commentator, I'm observing, I'm not pretending to be a part of what I'm observing. But I do hope that my observations are pertinent and interesting enough to merit taking your time here, okay? So this rigged game, the halftime show is rigged, the American Dream is rigged, and rap is rigged in favor of commercialized tripe. And Kendrick is going to win all three games at the same time. He's gonna get all going to get hypothetical on a Terry's clavicle, okay? That's what's happening right here. So it starts off with this moment, and then we get to the song Tiramisu. Shout out to Jeremy Hecht, who called it the Tiramisu Super Bowl. Dude is secretly like maybe the funniest guy on YouTube. He's so funny. Anyways, the Tiramisu Super Bowl starting off with a new song, and it sounds kind of weird and no beat. It's just his nasally voice on top of the car. And what's the first word that he uses? Reincarnated, because he's going to be announcing his new album soon. I'm positive of that. And it's going to be called Reincarnated or something along those lines. I assume it's going to be. Reincarnated with love. Eventually the strings come in. He's perched on his GNX. Everybody must be judged, but this time God's only favoring us, making it an explicitly pro-black message, okay? The us that he's talking about ain't me. Ain't me. My dad who went to Princeton and my grandfather went to Yale and whose parents were allowed to buy houses. Started with nothing but government cheese. Now I seize the government too. Hey, this is closer to Gaius Guevara than it is to Drake, okay? And then we get to a new part of a song. A new part of the song. And then everyone starts coming out of the GNX. It's a Trojan horse, right? It's a Trojan horse. It's the one thing all my conservative friends said. I like the car, though, because of course they do. It's a dope car. It's fun. It's fun to remember. But it's a Trojan horse. It's just him coming in, but just tens and tens of black Americans come pouring out of the car. Missed opportunity. Where's Tommy the Clown? Come on now. It's a clown car. It would have been hilarious if he came out first. But I get it. It's all unified. But Kendrick missed a couple times. That's one place that he missed. And they're all red, white, and blue as a reminder of the game, as a reminder of the game of the American dream and living in America and trying to survive in America. Well, no, they're red, white, and blue, and black, because they're all black. Of all the things he did, this might be the most audacious, because we're living in a time in which any success by any non-white person is instantly put into question by people who are literally given millions of dollars at birth, okay? That's the world that we live in, okay? A couple of very powerful millionaires whose parents gave them millions of dollars are now saying that you need to earn everything you have, okay? Hey, democracy, I don't know. I guess we wanted this. Doesn't matter. Does matter. I can't do anything about it right now. I'm just talking to you. So the idea that he didn't have any white performers is an amazing idea, because it's like, well, is this what you want? Not diversity? And amazingly, right now on right-wing Twitter, you have a lot of people say, oh, so diversity is good only when it benefits. Anyways, if you ever, by the way, want to just stop people when they start talking about this stuff, just say institutional power. Just say that. Just say it's only a question of institutional power, who has it and who doesn't, okay? The second that non-white people have institutional power, then there should be efforts to put to have diversity that includes white people. It's really actually not that complicated. I don't think people are genuine when they say they don't understand. Maybe they're not. I don't know. There's a commercial with Harrison Ford, get bumped Harrison Ford. Just talking about I don't know, like how we're all together and we can have differences but still get along. Just don't forget, that used to be true. It's not true anymore. We can't have differences and get along because the people we have differences with want to deny the humanity of people that we love. And these new lyrics, he says, the revolution is about to be televised, referring to the actual thing he's doing. This moment is the revolution. You picked the right time but the wrong guy. He's talking directly to the people in power who put him in that space and saying, you picked the wrong guy. I'm going to televise the revolution. Now, if there's any other thing that he did, he's maybe too subtle. This whole thing is maybe too subtle. It's hard to tell because it is a very revolutionary performance, but it's very possible to see it as not a revolutionary performance. But then maybe that's the game he's got to play, because if he just comes straight out and says F Trump and holds up a Black Power fist salute, maybe, again, much like Jalen Hurts, there needs to be some way of plausible deniability. There needs to be some way of not just getting roped in to the culture war horse hockey that ends up always benefiting the right. And then we have the only thing that really comes over from Butterfly that I hear is the sort of Greek choir, the Funkadelic-inspired Greek choir of these high voices. Someone better squabble up. Second song in a row that starts with the word reincarnated. Back-to-back reincarnated. Back-to-back songs that are teaser tracks in videos to something else, right? So Squabble Up was a teaser in Not Like Us, and Tiramisu was a teaser for the new album that's not on there. Everyone's in red, white, and blue. All the women are all in red. Is that a Handmaid's Tale thing? I don't know. I'm just going to say it in case that seems smart. I'm not sure it is. Nice variances to the songs, little variances here and there, little sweet variances. Like here, like Squabble Up's way more stomping. Sort of reminds you almost like of a, like a line. And Samuel L. Jackson, no, 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 too loud, too reckless, too ghetto, saying very clearly, he is the voice of America. He is the voice of white conservative America that is not liking what they're seeing. The voice of my friend who said this is the worst thing he's ever seen. Do you really know how to play the game? Tighten up. And then he plays his hits. He plays Damn and he plays DNA. And they form in a flag. And listen, this is powerful iconography. It is powerful iconography in 2025. After we have just decided, actually, let's not worry about ending racism, okay? The message "end racism" is racist. That is the message that has been sent out by literally the most powerful people in the world, okay? The most powerful person and the richest person in the world are united in making sure that fighting racism is perceived of as a racist act, okay? That's where we are. So this American flag with a bunch of black faces for a militant black artist, it's amazing. And I love the image of Trump watching this in his luxury box, surrounded by all the people being paid all that money, and just being like, I don't get it. I don't understand. What does any of this mean? You know? I mean, this is a guy who didn't understand Parasite. Okay, he saw Parasite and was like, what about Gone with the Wind? You know? Anyways, it's the small victories. And the way the dancers dance at the AM to the PM, where they're just like kind of jerky landing, it's really nice. And they march in unison off the steps. The choreography is great here. And then that leads right into DNA, where they just start moving forward. And they're using the whole length of the field, and that great warning, wrong way symbol. And then we get this super epic euphoria. And this is the time where, like, well, Kendrick, you showed us marching bands. Why didn't you have marching bands on here? I think he's really trying to not. I think he's trying to not. Like, whatever you want it to be, he's not. Just, this is rap music. Rap music is not with marching bands. Okay, Tyler had it work a little bit. It can be done, but only Tyler can do it. No, it can be done, but it's not part of the culture that he is trying to depict. He's not trying to make rap music work at the Super Bowl. I mean, he's not trying to make rap music Super Bowl music. He's trying to make Super Bowl music rap music. You see? And then even Euphoria, the lyrics he chooses. Have you ever played Let's Play? Have you ever walked your enemy down like with a poker face? Like, he's actually fighting. He's talking to Drake. But again, never, ever, ever think that Drake is just one person. Drake represents everything that Kendrick is trying to fight against. Everything that if we love hip-hop culture, as outsiders, as tourists, as practitioners, as people who grew up in it, or people who grew up with it, okay? I grew up with it, many grew up in it. Those of us who care about this culture and this art, Drake is a figurehead. He is a symbol. The same way Drake is a symbol of everything that's wrong, that Trump is wrong, a symbol of everything that's wrong with far right-wing conservatism, in the same way that Mahomes is a symbol of everything that's wrong with American sports dominance, you know? I know, Brady's a better symbol, but I'm from Boston. What do you want from me? You can take a mass hole out of Massachusetts, but you can't take the mass hole out of the Massachusetts. You know, and he's playing, he's talking to his competitor, and he's talking to Drake, but I think he's talking through Drake to the entire corrupting force of hip hop. And then we move to Man in the Garden. This might be the highlight of the whole thing, because, you know, first of all, it starts off with a man lying down on the light pole. How is it that this halftime show predicted that the Eagles were going to win? We have the Gais Guevara, who's from Philadelphia, born and raised. I don't think he spent most of his days on the playground. So we have that. And then we have a dude on top of a light pole. Right now, in Philadelphia, this is true. There are 7,922 people stranded on top of light poles. Like, there's police officers and firemen all over the city trying to get them down, but they're just drunk and stuck up there saying, "Go Birds!" It's happening right now. Their pockets are filled with batteries to throw at the police. You can't do anything with these people. By these people, I mean Philadelphians, you know? Anyways, a beautiful image. The way he sees the image of this person lying on the light post, which of course reminds us of was it the Family Matters video? I kind of was wondering if that wasn't Baby Keem up there. And then the word Superdome in the back. And it reminds me of the opening track off Chopper City in the Ghetto. Where you living at? Superdome. Any dome's a home if you can afford it. Beautiful image. And then they do an a cappella version of Man at the Garden. Okay, what? Oh, we're doing this now. I think this and the strings on Tiramisu are an indication that the next direction he's going in is going to be fairly different. I think the next album that's going to come out in the next couple weeks is going to be just like way more orchestral, way more musician-y, way more developed. And I think that's what's being hinted by this a cappella version of Man at the Garden. It's wild, it's awesome, it's totally different, it's a completely different song than it is on the album, and it's great. And that's the thing. Nostalgia is death. Nostalgia is a cousin of fascism, okay? Because longing for things when they were better and simpler is what Make America Great Again is founded on. Of course, that slogan was written and created by Ronald Reagan, adopted, stolen by Donald Trump, okay? It was the same idea. Same devil, different horns, okay? It's just like the idea of nostalgia has always been weaponized by fascists, going back to Mussolini, going back to the other guy with H that has the small mustache, okay? But going back to all those folks, like it's always part of that. And part of what my friends are upset about is that they want a nostalgia act. They want to remember. Like when Tom Petty played Free Fallin', it's like, I remember Free Fallin'. I remember because I went to the mall in Toronto where they filmed it like 2 years afterwards, and I pretended that I was playing guitar going up the escalator, and I was 11 years old, and I was with my brother, and he was trying to buy Drakkar Noir because he thought it was cool. I remember the 80s. They were so much fun. That's what we want. But Kendrick is not just now, he is forward, and this is the forward direction. My Culture United colleague, one of my heroes here on YouTube is Justin Hunt, and he's got the channel The Company Man. If you're not subscribed to The Company Man, punch yourself in the face and then go subscribe. He compared this to The Last Jedi. And the wild thing is, I'm going to show you my office, okay? This is me recording right here. Check this out. That's a Last Jedi poster. That is a French Last Jedi poster. It is 5 feet by 3 feet. That's just my office. That's how much I like the movie Last Jedi, okay? Or in French, Les Derniers Jedi, which makes it confirmation that Jedi is plural in that case, which you might not know from the English translation. I gotta teach. I love this comparison, and I want to build on it. So Justin's point, and I think it's correct, is that Kendrick is subverting expectations. That's what he's doing. He's taking expectations and he's turning them out. And you expect it to be a nostalgia show, and he's making it for it. And that's what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi, which is a great movie, a great Star Wars movie, but it's no good to people who love nostalgia. The same people who did not like the Kendrick Lamar halftime show hated The Last Jedi. I have actual evidence. I have timeline stamps on Facebook of complaining about Last Jedi because that's not their Luke Skywalker. They're not able to understand that their Luke Skywalker doesn't matter. What matters is the artist's Luke Skywalker, not the consumer. What matters is the artist's halftime show, not the consumer. So as much as I wanted to hear Backseat Freestyle, oh my God, did I want him to come out of a GNX in the backseat singing ding, ding, ding. I had it in my head. I wanted that more than anything, and I didn't get it, and that's fine. And what I got might not have been as good as that, but it's what he wanted to do. People who don't like Last Jedi tend to like Drake. They tend to support the Chiefs. They tend to vote for Trump. Okay? The car was cool. That's what they say. I listened to Dissect podcast on the way into work today, and he pointed out that your version of losing is Kendrick's version of winning, and that's the key. That's why we have to prioritize artists over consumers. Okay, because what we consider to be losing might be their version of winning. And we have this whole scene now of him in front of a bunch of dudes in the back. And this is like a recurring image from the pop out to this. And again, I'm a super white guy right here, so I'm talking out of turn, but feel free to correct me in the comments, okay? I hope we're all good here, all right? I come in peace and understanding and humility that I might not know what I'm talking about. But I do know that it is a politically radical act to just be a large group of black guys hanging around a light post. Okay, that in and of itself, and Kendrick just being there, just the presence, and their presentation with the gold teeth and the, you know, like him being there is very much, and being in front of them, like it ties back to the cover of To Pimp a Butterfly. It ties back to the pop out. Kendrick is obsessed, and I think correctly so, with prioritizing just black presence. Just the presence of black people and him being at the front as an actual leader. If the FBI hadn't been disbanded last week, if the FBI were like in the 60s, he would be the number one target because he is very close to doing the things that the leaders who they took out would do. Like that's what he's doing. Just always in front of the people and leading the people. This whole show is him leading the people. They're not me people, and I can get upset about it if I want. How come there's no diversity? Well, I don't need a champion, you know? Like that's the whole point. He's trying to do this thing that hip hop has done since the beginning. It has been the voice for the voiceless in every single civilization that it's ever been in. It's never been for the winners. It's been for the people who've had the game stacked against them. Does he even know how to play? And that's the question that Samuel Jackson pops in and says, oh, you brought your homeboys with you, the old culture cheat code. So he's directly making it clear that having the dudes behind him, just young black dudes, we don't know what, they're not dancing, they're not singing, they're just there. They just exist on planet Earth in that space on the Super Bowl field. And it's called the old culture cheat code, implying that he's just using the culture to try to seem authentic when he is actually an authentic expression, authentic manifestation of that culture. Scorekeeper, deduct one life. One life. Scorekeeper, who's the scorekeeper? One life. Not 10 points, one life. He didn't say we hate Popo. He never said Black Lives Matter. He never said anything particularly directly political in any kind of intentionally agitating way. But this line sticks out to me. Deduct one life, because that's the question. You know, that's the question. Are black lives valued in American civilization? Are they treated as equal? That's the point of Black Lives Matter. That's why White Lives Matter doesn't make sense as a sentence, because that is not in question. What is in question is whether or not our civilization, our culture, and our law enforcement and our politicians understand the existence and the importance of black lives. Scorekeeper, deduct one life. He's sneaking. The Trojan horse, the GNX, is filled with black guys, and they're all gonna come running out, and all of these like words that he's saying, like they seem like they're not anything. But it's a Trojan horse. It's actually a revolution. The revolution is being televised, except you picked the right place, but you got the wrong guy because you didn't actually want it. Whew. Anyways, it's great stuff. Great stuff. And then we have Peekaboo, and it's all confusing. He's all moving around. What's he talking about moving around. The camera's going around and around, and he pops up, and he's in the middle of an X. A lot of people are talking about how this is like XXX Tentacion and his ex-girlfriends are there. Cool. I like that reading. I think it's about Twitter. Personally, that's what made me think of Twitter. Because the whole song is about like being on IG Live. It's on being on social media and popping up and seeing what's actually going on. And hey, Twitter, if you haven't noticed, I mean, I don't go on Twitter. I've never really got it. I mean, I can't really say that I boycott it because I just never really paid attention to it. But anyways, it's like saying like I boycott a food I don't eat, you know. I'm never going to eat circus peanuts again. I wasn't eating them in the first place. I read it as that. And, you know, if you don't know, Twitter is increasingly favorable to white supremacist movements. It's intentionally moving in that direction. There's just evidence. So I don't know. It's not about doing your own research. It's about keeping your eyes open. The weird thing is he does AZ Chike's verse. Chike? And that's weird. Because, I mean, come on, man. You're not Chuck E. Cheese. Kendrick, you're not Chuck E. Cheese. And then the second mistake is he doesn't say bing, bop, boom, bop, bing, bop, boom. How much did you want to hear bing, bop, bing, bop, bing, bop, boom? So those are two more mistakes on Kendrick's card. Detract 5 points. That's not 2 lives. And then we had this back and forth with the ladies, with the female Greek chorus, the Greek Parliament Funkadelic style, butterfly style chorus. Ladies, I want to make a move. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue. This is a reminder of the singular moment that we are living in pop culture, in rap culture, in American culture, in black culture, in everything, okay? When I say culture, I'm applying it to so many different ways. A song that won 5 Grammys, was the biggest song of the year, is in question about whether or not it will be played in the Super Bowl because this person it is a song about is using the legal system to try to stop it from happening. This is drama that is greater than... Remember when the Patriots beat the Eagles? Remember that interception in the end zone? Thank you, Pete Carroll. You're a real one for that. You know, like, that's drama. This is... But that's nothing compared to this. Is he going to play it? And they start playing the song. What song? Dun, 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 and we get the first smile from Kendrick. Because he's smiling because he knows. He's building up this tension. We have so much. And he says, I'll think about it. And Uncle Sam says, you done lost your damn mind. And it builds with suspense. And it builds with joy. And then we have Luther. And this is the weakest section for me. Even though Luther's probably my favorite song on GNX now. But, you know, like, this felt like this was... like a concession. Now listen, he is performing with SZA on the tour. I'm going to be going. Hey, if you see me at Hershey Park, say hi. You know, I'm going with my daughter, you know, and it's going to be a great show, and I'm super happy SZA's playing as well, so I'm happy that it's here. I get why it's here, but this feels too much because all those same friends of mine who said this is the worst thing ever said, why don't they just have that lady do it? Because they don't know who she is either. Why don't they just have that lady do it? At least she can sing. Seriously, man, these are people who are my age. These are people who listened to Wu-Tang Clan and Onyx and thought they were the best, and now they're my age, and they think that Kendrick is bad and SZA is some lady. Age is a terrible thing, y'all. Stay flexible. Listen to TB12. Listen to Tom Brady, okay? The key to strength is flexibility. It's not muscles. Woo! And then All the Stars was my absolute low point because I want 30 for 30. That's my favorite SZA and Kendrick song after Luther. That's moving forward. Anyways. Yeah, says Uncle Sam. That's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You're almost there. Don't mess this. And then we get this amazing intro to Not Like Us, which merits study. And guess what it's going to receive? Study. Oh no. It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the floor. He's bringing the cultural divide to the floor. This is the they and the us, okay? Now listen, I personally have a reading of They Not Like Us, which excludes myself, okay? I perceive of this as being black culture and non-black culture. That's how I perceive of the song. I'm not upset about it. That's how I perceive it. And it's also possible to perceive of this song where I am a part of us, in which I am a ally and a contributor to black culture and you know, like a positive force. So in that way, I could be part of us and not part of they, you know? But there is a they and an us. And I think for the purposes of this video, I'm going to remove myself from that situation entirely, just pretend like I'm an alien from 5 centuries from now who's talking about this the same way I talk about 17th century theater, okay? Morale du Grand Siècle by Paul Bénichou. Great book, okay? Pretend I'm Paul Bénichou talking about the 17th century France, okay? There is the they and the us, and it's the divide. And the they is Trump, Drake, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, the Chiefs, the us, Jalen Hurts, Kendrick Lamar, the Eagles, everybody with Kendrick, hip-hop culture. This is the cultural divide, and he's getting it on the floor. Are you really about to do it? Yes, this is kicking Drake's ass, but it's also kicking every other they's ass. It was a terrible week for the they. The they got their ass kicked. What was the final score? 40-20. But those last 17 points for the Chiefs were just like a gimme. 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music. Making a direct reference to reparations, making a direct reference to the promises they made by the American government to the Black Americans who had been recently enfranchised, saying that they would be in reparations for slavery, be given 40 acres and a mule. This is why I learned about this, because I went to Spike Lee's store in Brooklyn, New York in 1992. And they had a t-shirt that said 40 acres and a mule on it. That was the name of his company. And I was going to buy it. And then my brother's like, I don't know, man. Might come across as kind of weird being a white guy wearing that shirt. So I didn't buy it. Was my brother right? Tell me in the comments. I'm angry at Charlemagne the God because of his his support of Trump and anti-trans stuff. But maybe I need to be nicer to him because I listened to his commentary too. And his problem with this, I think he's missing a lot of the point. His thing was that this needed to be more than about Drake, and that Kendrick should have actually really put on and done a real civil rights performance and really do the big fight stuff, you know? And the fact that he didn't do the last verse of Not Like Us is a sign that he wasn't really trying to be political, you know, the one about the Reconstruction. Well, first of all, I think that Charlemagne, I'm officially removing the Charlemagne nickname because, anyways, I was uncomfortable with it in the first place. It was cute, but who am I, you know? He's a goddamn legend, you know? I mean, academics deserves the smoke. I'm not sure Charlemagne does. But I think that's misunderstanding the greatness, because that's the whole thing. The greatness of the song is that it's not actually about Drake. It's the cultural divide. And the fact that he introduces this new line, 40 acres and a mule, essentially tries to, with one line, do what that entire 6-line bar does in the actual song. They tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. They tried to rig the game for the Chiefs. Did you see the interference, the pass interference on the offense? That was horse hockey. Even Tom Brady knew that was horse hockey. You know, that was horse hockey. Everybody, it felt like the fix was in. Like they were going to do the fix for the Chiefs, just like they did, because the Bills should have won. Okay, I'm up here in Western New York, so the Bills were jobbed. We all know that. You know, and the way that it's rigged for the Chiefs. Any of my Boston friends that I acknowledge that the Patriots did not earn every single victory they got. You know, this rigging the rich, for the powerful. That's how it all works. That's the craziest thing, is that all of the rigging, all of the tricks are all for the people at the top so they can get a little bit higher. It's never for the people at the bottom getting higher. It's never for that. It's never rigged for the people who need help. It's rigged for the people who don't. And Drake is trying to rig the game with his lawsuit, but you cannot fake the influence. This side, the they side, cannot overcome what us can do when us is together and has a leader like Kendrick. That's the hope. That's the hope. Get out of here, they. Let's let us. I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like bow. And he really goes to it. Goes through the entire song. Flashes that smile. Say, Drake, hey, like I'm young. Just to make us happy, to give us joy, to give us togetherness, to give us some joy. Because he's a serious man. He's not smiling. He's not jumping up and down. He's not changing his outfits. He's not getting onto a catapult and flying across the Superdome like Super Dave Osborne, okay? He's not doing that. Deep cut. He's not doing that, okay? But he will give you a smile like that. And that's all we need. You know, I used to be a Grateful Dead fan. Huge Grateful Dead fan. I saw Jerry Garcia in concert a total of 21 times. In the entire time, the only movement I ever saw was one concert. He lifted his arm once, and that was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in a concert live. That's what this is like, you know? And the A minor moment, you have to watch the audience clips of everybody singing and clapping afterwards. The joy, the hugeness of this beef that is revolution. black joy, autonomy. It's all here in this moment. Instead of I'm up, it's I'm on 'em tough. It all fits. The Palestinian flag guy fits in this. He does. And the Sudanese flag guy. Also, I didn't know that was Serena Williams. I was like, who is that really pretty woman? Anyways, I don't know. It was a big moment for female athletes. A lot of commercials there. Makes me uncomfortable, though, because protecting female sports is a dog whistle for being anti-trans. So I didn't know if that was some kind of superstitious thing. But this video isn't about that. And then he introduces himself, says it's GNX, and Mustard literally comes out of nowhere. I've watched the video like 10 times. I don't know where he came from. Because everyone's around Kendrick, and then all of a sudden, Mustard just pops up. I do wish they built up a little bit more to the first Mustard. I wish he choreographed that he's going to say Mustard. I wish there was dan 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 over his entire intro, and I wish he kept it on extra so that we're just sitting there and waiting. But still, beautiful shot with everyone just scattering out, and this is the pure joy. The only non-red, white, and blue article of clothing is Mustard's jacket, which is mustard yellow, and you just love it. And all these lyrics are about football. They're about Super Bowl. You realize it's about like passing routes and the Super Bowl, and everything's all coming together, and you're remembering that this is all tied into the goddamn first-person shooter. That's what started this whole thing. Big as the Super Bowl. That's what it was, as big as the Super Bowl. And then J. Cole and Drake did a tour called Big as the What? Because they were as big as the Super Bowl. But they're not as big as the Super Bowl. They're as big as the Melbourne Sporting Arena. Hey, listen, I'm not as big as the Melbourne Sporting Arena, so props to you, Drake, for being big as the Melbourne Sporting Arena. But can you change the lyrics to big as the Melbourne Sporting Arena? And then the way he says about has his foot on there, but someone's got to do it. Like he doesn't even say the words, and he's stomping with the size 7s, like on the Hydra, like I said last week in my last video. And it's beautiful, and it's so full, and I'm so happy. Even the first time I'm watching this, I'm smiling from ear to ear because the joy, the release, the feeling of all this great music and this great power and this art that I love so much and this artist who I respect so much. Turn the TV off, turn the TV off, turn the TV off. Game over. The game that started with big as the Super Bowl is officially over. The game that started his final victory lap, the last head of Hydra has been snapped. Drake is officially done. I sat in my old office saying, I think Drake probably won the war. Wrong. I was wrong as hell. Okay, I didn't know. What do I know? What do I know now? Look at me. It's because I got a 3-piece suit. I'm not even smart enough to buy shirts that fit around my neck. All right? Don't trust me. That's why I don't wear a tie anymore. It's like, is my neck getting fat? It's like, old age sucks. You know, this is turn the TV off, game over. And I love it because it's the triple entendre. The game is over, okay? The halftime game is over. He has won the halftime game. He has fought the forces of Uncle Sam, and he has done what he wants, regardless, okay? He made The Last Jedi, and it rules. And if you don't like it, it just means you don't understand Star Wars, and you don't understand hip-hop, and you don't understand culture. That's okay. Now you at least know what you don't know. He won that game. He won the game against Drake, and he won the game for hip-hop. Just all of it, all together. And then Trump, I gotta leave. I bet on the winner, and the winner's not winning. It's very unfair. You know? What the hell? I would have liked to see Absol out there, though, and Schoolboy Q, and Backseat Freestyle. That's, if I were in charge, you know, if this were Force Awakens, you know, great nostalgia thing, as opposed to Last Jedi, that's what I would have liked. Who won the MVP? Did they give it to Kendrick? I didn't see. I couldn't quite tell. I mean, I guess they should give it to Hurts. But there's that little fella on defense who did the pick six. I mean, getting a pick six on Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? Damn. I have some more thoughts. I'm just going to run through these super quickly. I just took notes on every time hip-hop was or was not used in music. First of all, Brad Pitt, get bumped. Whatever that video was. Did you see that video with him beforehand? Talking about huddling up. Man, you can just keep all those messages of togetherness. You just keep them all. You just keep them all. Ed, just keep them. Next 4 years, I don't want to hear anyone talking to me about togetherness, and we can find beauty in our differences. Get bumped, okay? Just get all the way bumped, okay? Restore rights to my brothers and sisters and NBs. You restore rights to those people, You stop taking them away, then we can have differences. We can have tax problems. We can have budget problems. But until you stop denying the existence and stop caring for the people I care about, we can't have differences, Brad Pitt. Get bumped. It's not a huddle anymore. And what is this? Aging, mediocre white guy parade? Tom Brady is not a great host. Tony Romo's is a worse quarterback, but he's a better commentator. I hate to say it. Tom Cruise doing the intro. All these like weird bloated like just all this like weird bloated middle-aged dudes. Pfizer had Marley Marl and LL Cool J's "I'm Gonna Knock You Out" for knocking out cancer. Fox News had a little commercial. They can get bumped. That's my new thing, by the way. Instead of saying get effed, I say get bumped, because that's what Kendrick said. Michelob Ultra had Catherine O'Hara and Willem Dafoe using Rick Ross's "Everyday I'm Hustling," which, let's face it, is actually Cat Williams' song now. There's some British rap on an Oiko song. And then Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady had some kind of yelling fight at each other, talking about why they hated each other, and it was something about anti-Semitism, and both of them can get bumped, okay? Seriously, both of them can get bumped all the way, all right? All the way. Just all the way bumped, both of them. Both of those MAGA dudes, okay? Like... Frankie's WeatherTech had old ladies doing some breaking. Google can get bumped as well for making me cry at their commercial for AI that had a dad dropping off his daughter at college, because I'm going to be dropping off my oldest daughter at college next year, and I started crying. One of my favorite moments was Country Roads being played, and then they were trying to make it seem like everyone was singing at the Superdome, and they weren't. And then the whatever Kent Brockman guy was just like, "A moment of unity brought by Rocket Mortgage." Anyways, rap really was not that present in the commercials. Country Roads, Born to Be Wild, Baba O'Reilly by The Who, Cash, My Own Personal Jesus, Whole Lot of Love for Nike Women, Everybody Dance Now by CNC Music Factory. So... anyways, not that much hip-hop in the commercials. Weirdly enough, the "I Am Somebody," which I mainly know from Jesse Jackson reading that poem on Sesame Street. I always thought the "I Am Somebody" is a really important civil rights poem, but now I guess the NFL is using it, so that's fine. I think "Panama" was on there too by Van Halen. My 17-year-old daughter said that Tom Brady looks like Dennis Reynolds with plastic surgery. She's ready. 2 separate commercials about flying hair. Hey, can they check in with each other? One of them was about Eugene Levy's eyebrows flying everywhere. It's gross. And then Pringles had a whole thing about flying mustaches. Why do I have to keep thinking about this? The Scorpions are used for NFL flag football. And the most political commercial was the province of Ontario. Hey, peace to all my Ontario brothers. You know, Ontario has a long and excellent history with rap music and hip-hop culture. Drake does not speak for you. We know that. We know that. We want brotherhood with our northern brothers. We don't want to excise the Canadians. Nothing but respect. Fox used Squabble Up for some of their promos. The song that Kanye sampled on the song Fade was used in a commercial. Doja Cat was in Taco Bell. Huey Lewis, Harrison Ford. You can still wave to people you disagree with. Get bumped, Han Solo. They gave a shout out to Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch can get bumped too. And then they used this as a bumper. Can I kick it? Yes, I can. I think at one point when Elliot was on there. By the way, every time he says, with the etiquette of LA, I hear, with the etiquette of Elliot. You know? So can I kick it? Yes, I can. Little Tribe Called Quest being used there. Props to the folks at Fox for knowing that. It's a delicate situation. What does he say? It's a sticky situation. Sensitive. It's a sensitive situation. I'm sometimes applauded on moisturizing. Many non-melanated people, men, do not know the importance of moisturizing. Tell you, you moisturize your face like twice a day. Oh, it's awesome. 3-4 times a day. Anyways, so that's my analysis. That's my hip hop analysis of where's my Patreons of the Super Bowl, of all the moments, the Kendrickness of it. Tell me what you think. What are your thoughts on it? I never show my Patreon, so if you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe. AVAA is the way that you say awesome video as always. You might see people post that. It's a little thing where I heart every comment, and I will do that for this video too. Hey, maybe some people will watch this video. That'd be pretty cool. It's an hour long though. You've been riding with me for a long time. What do you think? What do you think of the triple entendre, the 3 wars that Kendrick won at the same time with the help of Jalen Hurts? All right, till next time. There's the, oh wait, what's that new thing I say? Oh yeah, homework's on Brightspace. Until next time, there's the camera.